Hello, everyone. Welcome to Autumn is Here. Today, I am here with Jocelyn Groden, who is the Associate Commissioner with the Bureau of Social Services and Active Aging. Welcome to our show, Jocelyn.
Thank you so much for having me, Francine, and for amplifying the issues and opportunities for older adults here in New York City.
I'm so glad to have you. I know that, just so you know, my reason for doing this is because my mom had Alzheimer's, and at that time I knew nothing about it. And this was years ago. And I went through it alone. And people kept asking me about, where do you get services from? What do you do? What happens? All kinds of things. And they asked me that over the years. So I just took an interest in trying to give people some information. I know that it's better to be prepared, or at least know what's available to you, even though things are changing. So that's why we try to get as much information as we can out there, so people are not stuck and don't have resources that they need. So you represent the Department of Aging. Can you, in general, just tell me what the Department of Aging's purpose is?
Sure. So the Department for the Aging goal is to eliminate ageism, ensure the dignity and quality of life for New York City's diverse older adults, and help them to age safely and fully in their homes and communities.
Okay. So how long have you been with the Department of Aging?
I began with the Department for the Aging in 2001, which is 21 years ago. I left for a number of years to work on mental health, criminal justice, and child welfare. And I've been back for 3 years. So altogether, it's close to 10 years, although not consecutive.
Okay. Well, we want to understand about certain programs that you may have and information that you may have for the public. Like, what kind of services do you offer?
Yeah, thank you so much, Francine. We're a small but mighty organization, and we do so many different services. So I'm going to touch on a few of them, maybe not all, and maybe we'll have the opportunity later to talk more about any that I left out. So the biggest portion of the services that we deliver through our community-based organizations and provider network are older adult centers. We have more than 300 centers across the city that provide delicious food, fun activities, connections to resources, services, community. Becoming a member is free to anybody 60 and older. We also oversee the NORCs, which stands for Naturally Occurring Retirement Communities. These are housing developments that have predominantly older populations, and the city funds NORCs to provide programs that help older adults age in place through services like case assistance, healthcare management and assistance, health promotion, and other fun activities that connect older adults to services and resources. On a different side of the spectrum, we also oversee a number of services for largely homebound older adults. So the center of that is case management. The case management programs support older adults who have functional limitations and activities in daily living and need services like home care, personal care, and home delivered meals. So case management looks out for them and connects them to whatever they need. You talked earlier, Francine, about the experience with your mother suffering from Alzheimer's disease. So we have a number of programs throughout the city that support caregivers like you through our caregiver support and advocacy. And this includes those like you that are caring for older relatives, as well as a network of kinship caregivers that are parents again to youth. We also oversee geriatric mental health programs, which provide counseling to those experiencing anxiety and depression, elder abuse services, to those who are being victimized by abuse by loved ones or crime, as well as a number of workforce, employment, and volunteer opportunities for older adults. The biggest thing that I think everyone should know is our resource center, which is called Aging Connect. It's staffed by a team of very knowledgeable aging specialists who can help caregivers and older adults and professionals sift through a myriad of needs and issues and make sure that people are connected to the services that they need. Just to call that out for everybody listening, the phone number there is 212 Aging NYC, which is also 212-244-6469. And again, if you take away one thing, we do so many things, take away that number.
Okay. So the resources are for anybody having any kind of issues or difficulties or questions about different things that will occur.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because we do so much. And your story, I think, really exemplifies that, Francine. We don't always know what's out there and how we fit into that and what's the best fit for our needs. So that's fine. You call Aging Connect, you tell your story, what you're looking for, and they'll help figure it out with you.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So with your adult services program. So you said that is, well, I know when my mom, they used to call it adult daycare. I'm sure they must, is that the same thing? Okay. So
no.
That's different. That's different. Okay. So with your adult services program, how do people get in touch with that? Do they call you? Do they walk into a place and is there forms? Is it anything specific that they have to do, prepare for?
So you're going to hear me say this a few times. The simplest thing to do is call Aging Connect, say where you live, what you're looking for, and they'll connect you. And again, if you don't know all the words, to your point, there are a lot of words, or social adult day for the cognitively impaired, which is a respite program, which is very different than our older adult centers, which are largely active older adults that are looking to make friends and have a healthy lunch and access health promotion and Tai Chi and yoga and all kinds of wonderful programming. So again, it's okay if you don't necessarily know, although these are some things that might immediately resonate for some of your listeners. But call Aging Connect. If you forget the number, you can call 311. They'll connect you too. Right.
Okay. So is one of the services, I know people have asked a lot of questions about Medicaid and Medicare, and they're confused about that. And a lot of people, of course, when you get older, you have to deal with that. Is there anything that you can offer us to shed some light on that? At what point do they get those services and what they have to do?
Right. So Medicare, you're eligible when you're 65 years old. And one of the wonderful services that we provide here in New York City and elsewhere is our high cap program. High cap, unfortunately, we talk in acronyms here, stands for Health Insurance Counseling Assistance Program. So you're right. We're bombarded with advertisements and information. We don't necessarily know what to trust, what's the right fit for us. So High Cap provides unbiased counseling. So we're not connected to any for-profit enterprise. So you can get on the phone with one of our High Cap specialists and they'll look at the particulars of your situation, what makes sense for you, and they can help you navigate what's often pretty complicated terrain. Medicaid is different than Medicare. Medicare, you turn 65 and you're generally eligible. Medicaid is different because it's tied to your income. So You need to meet those income thresholds. For a lot of people, when they're thinking about long-term care planning, which is also complicated. They're thinking about, how do I get on Medicaid, or how does Medicaid reimburse me for some of these services? So that's something you'd want to talk to a long-term care specialist about. You can access some of this information through your older adult center. You can call Aging Connect. They'll connect you with New York Connects. If you're a caregiver, again, you can call Aging Connect. They'll connect you with the caregiver program that's near you, closest to where you live. And they'll also help you kind of sort through the particulars of your situation, or the situation of your loved one that you're looking out for.
Okay. We also want to welcome today, and on Autumn is here, Karen Cherry, who is the Senior Liaison in New York City for the senior citizens. Welcome, Karen.
Welcome. How are you?
I'm good today. Thank you so much for coming on Autumn is Here. I appreciate you taking the time out. I understand that this is a new position.
Yes. It's it's actually, I'm a senior liaison, but we have to change the language now because it's older adults for the city of New York.
Okay, so what would it be called now?
I'm still a senior liaison, but my portfolio is I oversee the older adults for the mayor for citywide. Older
adults. Okay, so we're changing.
Yes, we don't say seniors anymore. We say older adults.
Oh, okay. All right. That's okay. So, what is the overall purpose? Because this is a new position, and I'm sure you're trying to.
Well, his role is he wants to stay close with and in touch, like a more intimacy with older adults. Where I travel the 5 boroughs, I visit the senior centers, I do senior builders, anything on senior issues, that's me. And I'm the link where if you're having an issue or you're not being able to get in contact with someone, you can call me. Some of the seniors don't go to senior centers, right? So sometimes they might attend a meeting. So I go to senior meetings. Sometimes I go to community boards. They have different committees. So anything dealing with seniors, that's my role. And I report it back to my superiors. And then we go from intergovernment, where if it's a city issue, then I'll deal with the intergovernment issue, intergovernment of that city, of that department. Say if whatever department is, then I'll deal with them. I send a letter on behalf of that constituent saying they're having problems, like that.
Okay, so with what you do, you may be speaking to the Department of Aging also, if you find something that someone needs a resource for, or things like that.
Yes,
you may have to.
Yes, I would contact our intergovernment person there, and I say I need this, that, and then I can delay it like that. Yes. Okay.
Well, Ms. Groden was telling us, Ms. Groden was telling us about certain programs that they have through the Department of Aging that helps senior citizens and things like that. We've spoke about the adult services and things like that, and Medicaid. But I also want to speak about this. You have a sharing home program with the Department of Aging. I'm interested in knowing about that.
Right. Well, I'll start by saying HPD is really the lead in terms of housing programming for older adults, and they oversee programs like senior affordable rent, and so on. But home sharing, it was a very innovative program. I think it started in the 80s, so it's not new. And it's been administered by the same vendor for the last 30 or more years. So it's a boutique program. It pairs an older adult with another person. There are different ways that you can do this. One way would be an older adult. She lives in a brownstone. She raised her family there. Her family has grown up and moved on, and now she wants to rent a couple rooms. Another example is an older adult who was displaced or something like that and is looking for a room to rent. So there are the hosts, and then there are the guests, or the language we use. And we have a really thoughtful vendor that does a very thorough assessment and matching process with both the host and the guest, to protect everybody's interests and preserve the relationship. And it's a great opportunity to reduce housing costs, which we know are a significant cost and stress for many of us, particularly when you're on a fixed income. And one of the wonderful things we've seen as a result of this program, even though it really is conceptualized around housing and affordability, is we've seen some of the matches prevail for many, many years and become really supportive and mutually beneficial. For example, we've seen older adults match with younger people who can help them with chores and errands and reaching things that are really high up on shelves and things like that. And also people to older adults that have become very close, and the relationship becoming a lot more than just a financial home sharing arrangement. And we're always looking for hosts, in particular, guests too. Definitely, if you are an older adult or interested in rooming with an older adult and have a place that you want to rent a room, again, please contact Aging Connect, and always looking for more people to become involved in this wonderful program.
Wow, that sounds like a great program, and I'm sure there's people who could use it and may not know about it. So, what are the things that you experience when you're dealing with the seniors? What are maybe the number one complaint or problem or difficulty with seniors that you see, or something common that happens?
What I'm coming across more now, I find, is seniors coming with the dementia. Dementia is a big issue that I'm having. They're calling, and I'm noticing that, they have a slight dementia, and that's kind of challenging. A lot of them, it's just city concerns, and, they want to be, they're concerned about, it varies. It really varies. I just came from a holiday party over in Roosevelt Houses. It's housed in a NYC development, right? So I went to say happy holidays on behalf of the mayor and bring holiday greetings, and also some safety tips because of the holiday. But because it's housed in a NYC development, they came over to me with heat problems and problems that they're not being, answered to. So that's my position, where I say email me or text me, because I give out my cell number, because some people don't have emails, they're not tech savvy. And then we'll go into the issues such as that.
Okay. Well, it seems like maybe certain things that maybe you'll be able to work with other agencies and with the Department of Aging.
Yes, definitely. That's my role, to be able to connect them to the agencies that they need the most. Okay. Definitely. Like yourself, like you said, you were trying to get some folks on, and I were able to link you to that. I consider myself the link. Okay. So with aging, with the Department of Aging, I was interested because it has affected me with caregiving and support. Do you have support for caregivers and for the senior, or, or is it just one?
So in terms of, we have support for the caregiver and for the older adult. So we have 12 community-based caregiver programs. They exist in all 5 of the boroughs, and they offer things like information and referral, long-term care planning. We talked a little bit about that earlier, Francine, in terms of things like Medicaid, support groups, which is a great way to bring caregivers together and form social networks of caring and mutual support, counseling, training, and respite care. So respite care includes what you mentioned around social adult day. So which I would say supports both parties in the relationship. It supports the impaired older adult in terms of getting into program that will be cognitively stimulating and supportive of the particular needs of that older adult. It also supports the caregiver. Many caregivers, it's 24/7, right? And then maybe you're caring for your mother, you're caring for some children. The things that people have on their plate are pretty phenomenal. It's really important to take care of yourself and have a break. So these programs also provide opportunities for caregivers to have some respite, go to work, do what they need to do for themselves. So the programming definitely goes both ways. Francine, if you don't mind going back to the question that you asked Karen, I would say there's a few things, high notes, if you will, in terms of what top of mind for me. Housing, which Karen talked about, safety, which Karen mentioned, health, which includes health and mental health. When we think about health, it's all the health problems that are sometimes associated with aging, but also mental health, which has been really amplified because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And we're talking and learning more and more about the impact of social isolation, caregiving, and then community care, which means so many older adults and their loved ones, they're seeing somebody experiencing some new limitations that they didn't have before. Let's say walking or showering or doing daily chores. And typically we don't want to send ourselves or our loved ones into nursing homes. So how do we get the supports we need to stay and age in place? And that's where case management, home care, home delivered meals, and other services come in.
Okay, that's awesome.
Also, I forgot to mention senior abuse awareness. As you know, the mayor declared it back in June with the Department of Aging. That's something that I find, when we go out and I talk. One time I was out and there was a woman who, once I spoke about it, when I said that the mayor declared it, she broke down. And she had been dealing with abuse from her son because he had mental issues, and she didn't know how to go about it. But that day was her breaking point. That day was the day she said no more. And she, in silence, that, he didn't touch her, but the verbal abuse and stuff, so, it's a lot that seniors go through. So I'm the one to mention that as well, that the department, she could speak on that too as well.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. We don't think about it in that way. Sometimes, we don't know that it's happening because when you're older, they're depending on this person and they're in fear. And then who else is going to help me or whatever? So they kind of trade off and they deal with it in silence. And that's something that, people will not, it's hard for them to speak out about it. So one of the things I tell the listeners that if you see something, if you just suspect something, there are elderly abuse places where you can call. And I'm assuming that the Department of Aging, we will be able to call and get the proper help or get someone to look into that. So you do have that service.
Yes, we have a couple of services. One that touch on what we were just talking about, which is elder abuse, acts of abuse, physical, mental, financial, that are committed against people we trust. Right. They so often sound like the story Karen just described, a mentally ill adult child. That's probably the most common thing we hear. And then, of course, everyone knows about these scams. We're all subject to them, right? We get these texts and emails and phone calls. And, maybe for us, we're so used to it, we know what it is. But for older adults who didn't sort of come up on this, I think there's more danger sometimes. So we have a number of citywide elder abuse contractors that provide counseling, information referral, and support to elder abuse victims throughout the city. We've also expanded these contracts as it related to the mayor and his commitment to World Elder Abuse Awareness Day and the work in general. We've brought more people in. And here at New York City Aging, we also have a team of direct social workers that provide help to abuse and crime victims. We've been working very closely, more closely than ever, with NYPD to share crime victim information and make sure that New York City Aging is calling where we can and have capacity to follow up when someone 60 or older is a victim of a stranger crime, to offer our support and services.
Okay. Thank you. Well, I want to just mention something about the, you spoke about earlier with the adult daycare centers and adult centers and senior care centers. I know, Karen, you go and you visit them. Are you seeing that people are really going and supporting them, and are they a place where people enjoy being other than lunch? Because my mom used to go to every center there was. She had a calendar. And if she knew what they would put the lunch, and if she knew that they were doing a certain lunch, she would go to that one. Or if they had a trip or whatever, she went to so many centers. She really enjoyed it. But do you find that people are actually participating and going, and these centers are run well and things like that?
Yes, they ran excellent. I enjoy it. And each borough is different. As you see, I go through all 5 boroughs, so I'm so amazed as I go because they ran excellent. They're excellent. I would just like to see more seniors come out and give it a try. So they are coming back slowly but surely. Yes, they are. Right. And that is some of the stuff that they're trying to seek to bring them back. Because believe it or not, they also have Zoom. I think some are still on Zoom, where for those that are not going, they're actually participating on Zoom.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Mm-hmm. So you see that some of them have fell off in their attendance and things like that.
In some communities, yes.
Do you know what they're doing to encourage people? Is there any programs? Are they going to people, churches or whatever, to just let people know?
That I can't speak on. You can speak with the Department of Aging. I wouldn't know.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know if you would know that, if anybody is encouraging that to get seniors.
Well, like I said, they're doing the Zoom. The Zoom part is to be able to keep them, to make sure that they're still engaged. Yeah, but I don't know the outreach piece of it.
The outreach of getting people to come in.
Yeah, okay. I'm happy to speak to that. So we do a number of things. I mean, yes, we're doing what you're talking about. We work closely with faith communities. Not too long ago, I presented to a group of faith leaders on the weekend on the Zoom to talk about how to talk to their congregants and, what services are available. We also have a public information campaign that's on our trains. We've done outreach to primary care physicians, which we think is a great point of contact. So we're always amplifying the message. Most of our older adults, the majority, have definitely returned. However, some people are still really afraid of COVID and everything else going on that you hear about in the news, the flu and RSV. And so not everybody is there. And we've distributed over 20,000 tablets, Wi-Fi enabled tablets. We did a ton of technical education and capacity building. Every crisis has an opportunity in it. So we use this crisis to really dig into breaking through some of that digital divide. That said, that's wonderful. There's nothing like walking into a building and seeing your friends and having a meal with your community, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially as you get older, you don't have that much contact with people. Sometimes they're locked in their house with nothing to do. And psychologically, that hurts them. It deteriorates them. because they're not active, because they're not, and they're by themselves. A lot of, especially in New York, there's a lot of seniors that are lonely. So it just would be so good to see them out again, getting them out and being safe. I know it's wintertime, it's, maybe a little difficult, but maybe even some of the buildings that don't have the senior centers, have them if they live in buildings, to create something there, so I'm just throwing that out. I know you have a lot of work to do. I know you have a lot of work to do. I know you're new, and I know the mayor is working on this. I know it takes a lot.
Well, he does have a great relationship with Department of Aging Commissioner. She works very well with him, and she's amazing. And her programs, like she said, she's giving you a full disclosure of what they offer. So he's very confident in what services that's being provided, and they talk on a frequent note of what's going on.
Awesome. That's great. Okay, so I'm just going to ask I guess I'll ask Karen first. Is there anything else you would like to share to tell the audience, things that maybe that we should know, or something common that you see all the time, or any kind of things for the future?
No, I just go out on behalf of the mayor and let them know that he's concerned, and just let them have a name with a number, so they can be able to be have a contact person, and it's an honor to travel 5 boroughs on behalf of for older adults, and they're very excited. They are very excited to have a personal number where they can call and text, and I stop by. I even do somewhat home visits. I kind of look to see if it's safe, or because sometimes if they can meet me at a senior center, I'll ask them to meet me at a senior center, because I can't bring them to the city. They're not allowed. We don't bring anyone up, and I wouldn't want someone from the Bronx coming all the way to the city when they have an issue, right? Mm-hmm. So having that personal contact makes a difference. So I'm just trying to get my telephone number out and my email out. I'll share that with you here, so they can have it as they watch it. My email is K Cherry at cityhall.nyc.gov. And my cell number, I prefer my cell number because I'm usually in the field. Like I said, I was in Brooklyn. I came back to get on. I didn't want to be outside to take this. My cell number is 347-939-3965. You can share that as well. And it's 24 hours. I take 24 hours calls. I come out if there's a situation, anything with seniors, I'm on it, to address the mayor. I tell everyone he was a mama's boy. Not saying he wasn't a daddy's guy, but he was a mama's boy, and they know that. They know that. So they feel like sometimes Brooklyn gets more. So when I come to the Bronx, like I'm going to the Bronx tomorrow, they're like, "Oh, so you came?" I said, "See, I told you." So I'm just trying to get out and be able to say we have the Department of Aging that's there for you. I want to be the link to be able to get them over to the Department of Aging, get them to the community centers, because some might not go to a senior center, but they'll attend their block association. So if they invite me to their block association, which is sometimes elderly, I'll come out, right? Sometimes if I come to their senior meeting that's held in the church, I come there. They might not go. And then when they find out about the senior center and what they're doing, it leads them there, right? Because they're like, oh, I met her at Maria Lawton Senior Center, or I met her at, this center here. So it's different. It goes that way. So it helps. So I just want to get that out, because it's a lot. Just like I go into the nursing homes, and I go anywhere where it's an elder. I go in and I sit and I listen. Can I fix things? I try. I can't save the world, but I can at least listen. And sometimes they feel like no one is listening to them. Yes, and I want to be able to listen to them.
That's true. That's very important. So I'm going to ask you, Ms. Grodin, the same thing. Is there anything that you would like to share, or something that's common that people miss, or something that programs or anything in the future that you would like the audience to know about?
As I said before, there's so much we do. So first, look out for our PSA and come back, welcoming people back to our older adult center, which is on the radio and on the trains and in the newspaper. Also, to again underline the point about social isolation, the science is telling us it's so much more damaging than we ever realized. It's the equivalent of smoking. I think they say 10 cigarettes a day, half pack a day, in terms of what it does to your physical health, what it does to your mental health. Get connected. There's so many opportunities, whether it's an older adult center or a caregiver program or geriatric mental health, or if you're not an older adult, but you want to be connected, you want to make a difference, you want to be one of those listeners. There's so many great volunteer opportunities. Mm-hmm. The holidays are almost here. Reach out. Be a part of serving the very people that help build and create the New York that we live in now. Hopefully we'll all grow old, right? It's a great thing. And so, you'd want people to be there for you. So, how great to show up now with whatever time, you have. And again, just underlining to call and connect. There's so much out there. You don't have to have any of the answers. Just call and tell your story, and we'll help figure it out together. And finally, I guess the other thing I just wanted to say is New York City Aging, along with our partners in city government through the first ever Aging Cabinet, is really changing the culture for older adults in terms of two big things are top of mind. One is how we think about aging, whether you're an older adult yourself or not. Combating ageism. It's one of the last isms. It's so ubiquitous in our society. You go buy a birthday card and there are all these jokes and jabs about getting old when you're 30, right? We need to change that. I mean, what does that do to you when you're 90, right? In terms of your self-perception and how that impacts your quality of life. And it does. So we're really working together to change that thinking, the messaging, and talking about how vital older adults are to our community and what vibrant aging looks like. And then through the mayor, the first ever New York City Aging Cabinet, which brings together so many city agencies, including agencies you might not think about, like the Department of Education. We think about school children. Certainly they do that. But they're also working with us to talk about what does anti-ageism look like in the classroom. Incredible work. Being a mama's boy certainly has great benefits to changing the way we're supporting and thinking about aging in the city.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you both. I am excited about hearing all these different things that are happening. These actually are questions that I want to know. Like I've been dying to understand certain things and how to work through with the Department of Aging and things that you offer and things like that. So I'm really excited, especially excited that there is a new position that Ms. Cherry is doing. And I know it's new, but I'm excited to see what's going to happen for the future and what's going to come out of it, because we do ignore, the seniors and growing older. I'm sorry, the older adults. We do. I'm going to try
it's
to.
Okay. You'll get it. You'll get it. I'm getting it as well. I'm getting it as well. Also, I left out, the mayor likes to honor those that turn 100 years old. So if you know of anyone that's turning 100 years old, please notify myself or anyone in CAU, which is, the community affairs unit I come out of, and himself will come out and present that person a proclamation. If not, I will on his behalf. But most likely he likes to do it. He
New York City.
For New York City. New York City.
Okay. Yeah. I just celebrated my aunt's 100th birthday. She lives in Spark Hill, upstate New York. And just this Sunday, we just went there.
Wow. Wow. See, if she was if she was from New York City, we could have gave us.
But I'm excited that he's focusing on this. We just ignore it. We ignore it as if we're not going to turn old. I want things in place. So when I turn old, I have options and I don't just fall into a system and just be forgotten. And, or I get, because 20 years from now, I can imagine what's going to happen in internet and things like that. I probably won't be able to keep up with it, so I can imagine how some of the seniors feel, because even now, doctor visits, everything is online. And before you go to the doctor, you have to fill out all these papers, and it's a lot. So I can imagine that. So I'm excited to hear that they're working on things, especially in New York. It's so many seniors, so many older adults here. And just to know that you have a Department of Aging that's in place, that has all these resources and programs and, information that you can get. I'm sure you don't, you're still, even though it's a agency that's been around for a long time, there are still some new things that are developing, things that you may not have thought about, or it's just happening now, like due to COVID or due to, the electronic age and things like that. So I know you're still busy working on it. So I am grateful for that. And I'm just excited. I'm excited to see what you put in place, and that is going to help people out there, because it's so many that just kind of just go along and do whatever they can do. And they can age so much better. They can live so much better because people are living longer. Like my aunt is 100, my other aunt is 90. People are living longer. So we want to be able to, you shouldn't just fade out, and to keep them active, That's why I'm concerned with the senior centers, just to keep them active. So thank you so much for your time, Ms. Roden and Ms. Cherry. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you wanting to talk about the subject. And I just appreciate your work in it already, that you've already done, and that you're going to do. So, and just, let me know if there's anything that you want to talk about, anything else. I'm excited to get this to the people. I really am.